Welcome to the LawyerFair.co.uk Daily Podcast. LawyerFair helps businesses find the right lawyer at the fairest price. But on this podcast, we just chew the fat with some great guests.
So, Bivek, how do I describe you, Bivek? What's your actual role at KPMG?
So I'm a partner at KPMG. I've been a partner at KPMG for over 10 years now. But what I'm famous for right now is running KPMG's small business accounting service offering, which I've been doing over the last few years.
Well, I think we are now formally recording, Bivek, so I think we have to do a little introduction. So I'm chatting to Bivek Sharma from KPMG. Welcome.
Hi there.
I'm very, very well, thank you. This is the LawyerFair Daily Podcast, and this is I'm really interested in this conversation with Bivek for a couple of reasons. Bivek is basically a partner at KPMG, but is heading up the small business team, the enterprise team that is delivering, I think, an amazing product into the small business market that perhaps the small business market isn't aware of or doesn't think KPMG would be doing. But just give us a quick snapshot, Bivek, of the small business offer that you've got.
Yeah, so the small business accounting, it is, when we talk about small business, it is really small business. I think sometimes, people talk about SMEs and they're really talking about mid-market. So our target customer, so our kind of existing customer base is any company right from a startup all the way up to a 10 million turnover. So this could be anything from a kind of a one-man or a two-man legal practice, or a florist or a gym, right the way through to a kind of a higher growth tech company or a kind of a manufacturing company. So we've got a real mix of clients. Interesting, we tend to find that most of our customers come from the smaller end of that. So it's kind of almost that kind of 0 to 1 million turnover. Right. We've looked at lots of anything from, like I said, a startup up to kind of a high growth. So it's really across the board.
Well, what I find interesting, Vivek, your background is in family businesses, isn't it? In SMEs, that's where you come from. Just give us a quick background as to where you cut your teeth.
Yeah. So I think before to look, as I was going through, growing up, I never ever imagined I was going to be an accountant. So my family have been in retail for forever and a day since they've come into this country. So they've been running shops, post offices, cash and carries. And so I've always kind of been working in those family businesses. So actually, when I graduated, one of the first things I did was ran the family business. Which once we kind of got out of that, we were running a business which was selling flour into the retail market. So we were sort of selling it. We were selling it wholesale, and that's kind of where I cut my teeth. It was running my own business. So almost I think getting into accounting was having exited from that business. I had to work out what to do. I was still very, very young. Clearly hadn't made anywhere near enough money to retire, so I needed to get a real job at that point, and which is where I kind of accidentally stumbled upon the Big Four. But I've been working in the Big Four for years and years and years now. So since the 90s until now.
And I think what's interesting about what you are setting up is there's an element of intrapreneurship going on here, isn't there? Because my understanding is within KPMG, this is a kind of almost its own entrepreneurial unit. You're building products and markets within KPMG. So again, just give us a little background about the idea and where it's come from.
So I think the interesting journey for me, working in KPMG and the Big Four is that I think I realized relatively early that sort of mainstream life wasn't for me. I was never going to be an auditor or a kind of a tax advisor or whatnot. So really early on, what I started doing was building technology. I used to sort of pick up coding books and started building technology apps for my customers, sort of financial reporting apps and tax apps and things like that. And before I knew it, I'd sort of built up a decent customer base using my technology. This is way back when I was sort of, still sort of early 20s. And I went along to my partner and said, look, I've got a great idea. I think I can build a great technology software business here. And, I had a good partner at that time who just said, go off and try and see where you get to. And that's what I became famous for. So, I started off my career, which was really in technology. It's building technology products. I've always been allowed to build my own business and market in the way I wanted to. So sort of about 2-3 years ago, in the small business space, because of my background in small businesses and understanding some of the issues around kind of finances and accounting, and my kind of experience of going through the exit and so on and whatnot, and also then my interest in technology. Saw all this great kind of financial technology, cloud-based technology coming to the market. So sort of 3 years ago, I kind of said, look, I think this is the future. UK is becoming this kind of startup hub around the country. So, if you're sort of talking about the real kind of growth accelerators for startups around the world right now, London is right there at the top of things. And, this is where I kind of decided this is the market we've got to be. And actually what we've now got is the infrastructure and the technology to really go after that market. And that's the point at which I went along to the board here at KPMG 3 years ago and said, look, this is where we've got to be. Here's the market, and here's the amazing things we could do in this market, which again, came from my experience of running small businesses, as well as my technology experience and kind of, having that sort of entrepreneurial kind of sort of spark about the way we've been able to work over the last, X number of years.
And this particular product or range of products, but just define. So it's almost a virtual FD. Would that be the kind of way to describe it?
So it's sort of what we've done is we've rolled 3 roles into one. So what you get as a small business. So let's just say you own a small company or a marketing agency. Just for the sake of this conversation, what we offer you is a dedicated accountant. So you get a KPMG qualified, dedicated accountant that you can call anytime you want to. Now that accountant will play 3 roles for you. They play the role of a traditional accountant, so they will do all your accounting work, your tax work, all the year-end stuff, your VAT, so all the things you need an accountant to do, the payroll, sort of all the obvious stuff. But the second role they play is that of a bookkeeper as well. So using our technology, we have direct feeds into bank accounts. So we do the daily bank reconciliations. We deal with the invoice coding. We deal with the sort of the sales and the expenses. So we're doing the role of a bookkeeper as well. But the final piece this accountant plays is that of a virtual FD. So he or she will be monitoring your finances, seeing how your cash flows going month on month, how you're performing against budget and forecast, giving you advice. And when you get to those stages, like I did when I was running my business, when you get to exit and you need that extra support, so you need detailed management reporting, you need to pull together kind of a 3-year plan, you need somebody solid sitting behind your numbers, or you need to access short-term financing, we'll provide the kind of the MI information you need. So all of that kind of virtual FD, your finance, your finance person, almost sort of sitting at your table, we play that role as well. Now the thing we've done, which I think has been really revolutionary, is that we kind of looked at that and thought, clearly we say all this stuff, we're going to do all this wonderful stuff, but it's a market that is cash restrained. So we've dealt with the time poor element of the market, which is, these small business owners have got so much on, they can't afford to spend huge amounts of time doing this. So we take that off their plate altogether. So even things like expenses and sales, they can send everything to us electronically. They can take a picture of their receipts and it comes through to us electronically. They want to see how their business is doing. We have an online dashboard that tells them real time, this is how you're growing, this is where you're spending your money, this is, the orders that have come in. But the other element was the cost. So we can't get away from this. This market is very cost sensitive, especially in the early days. So we really had to focus on getting the costs down to a sensible level. So the first thing we realized is actually we've got to do this on a monthly basis. You can't sort of send an invoice once a year because, this is all about cash flow. And so this is done all on direct debit and we have a price pack. Now, the shocker, and here's the shocker, is it's KPMG. And this is everyone sitting there. And this is where people are generally rolling their eyes when I'm talking, thinking,
well, there's various people Bivek, listening to this actually sucking their teeth, thinking, I'm going to hold on to the edge of my table at the cost of this.
Yeah, because they're thinking, this is all great talk, but here comes the price. We know what you guys charge on an hourly basis.
Yeah.
So what we've done, and partly this is because of the model and it's the way we operate, and because we're really, really trying to disrupt and make this market better. We've got 2 packages. We've got our package number 1, which is, we will do all the accounting roles, we'll provide you all the technology, we'll do your VAT, we'll do your year-end accounting, we'll do all of that. And the kind of entry price is £125 a month, which we think is, we've done loads of research in the market to do all of that We think not only are we cost competitive, actually it's just downright disruptive. And then we have another package which is saying actually, we'll do all the accounting, the tax work, but actually we'll also do all of your bookkeeping work as well. And those sort of pricing packages usually start at about £230 a month. And that's things like, and also included in our packages are things like payroll. And we can also offer company secretarial. Now the bit to make it extra kind of exciting, we've then added a whole layer of other things. So I kind of sat back, and over the last few years, we just said, well, what else could we be doing as part of that without charging money to make this offer even more exciting? So one of the things we do is we say, look, we're KPMG. We have 29 offices. We have 13,000 people. If you have a product that is interesting to just general consumers, we have internal we have our internal websites for selling into our staff base of 13,000, where we will take our small business offerings and we will then sell it to our own base of customers. Where we have customers of ours that say, actually, it'd be really useful if you could link me up with one of your large corporate clients or one of the networks or somebody in government, we will then help them do that as well. And we'll help with supporting some of the kind of PR activity. So there's a whole raft of additional things. So a couple of things that I really thought would be kind of interesting to bring up. So what are we doing over and above? One of the things we recognize is clearly that smaller businesses, financing is always going to be an issue. So what we're doing in the next month is, and we've already struck a deal, is we're including a free funding platform to all of our customers. And the way this works is it links into our accounting system, pulls out all the information you need to fill in your sort of lending applications, and it links you to 50 lenders straight away. And we've timed it. So within 10 minutes, you can apply. So let's just say for my business, I need to buy a van worth £20,000. You can apply to 50 lenders within 10 minutes. And we've actually got the lenders fighting over our small businesses trying to lend them, which is a great way of changing the power base. So rather than, having to go cap in hand to your bank, we've now got all these lenders trying to win the business of our customers. So that's the first thing we've done. And it's a free service. We don't charge for that. And we're working with a partner on that. The second thing we looked at is that businesses need to, so one of the things we constantly get asked is, yes, you're doing all the accounting, yes, you're doing the FDO, that's brilliant, but can you help us do valuations? Now, traditionally, when you're valuing a company, this is, you're charging thousands of pounds. So even for small businesses, it could be anywhere between £3,000 and £12,000 for a valuation. We're going to introduce in the next 3 months a platform which will take the information from our financial systems. So we use Xero to do all the bookkeeping. And based on that and additional information about where you think the business is going to go in the next 2 years, so your kind of 2-3 year projection plan, for £19 a month, this produces a valuation report for you. So what we're constantly looking at doing is saying, how do we offer more services for less money, but making it really convenient? So the thing that I found really interesting in this sort of market is that, especially when you're looking at some of the newer businesses, these business owners are used to using the web to book travel, to book accommodation. Cloud is just a part of the way they work. But then they come to accounting services, and it feels like they normally feel like they've gone back 150 years. Everything's still done face to face. They need to make appointments. And that's the thing we're trying to break. So how do we make it more competitive? How do we give much more of a service offering? How do we take it into a much more real-time environment?
Well, listen, I have to say I'm slightly bombarded with value-add offers going on here. I mean, everything from the £125 a month through to when's the free funding platform coming live?
So we're gonna go live in the next 6 to 8 weeks. That comes live for all of our customers.
Well, so that's kind of crowdsourcing your finance request, isn't it?
So what we've done is we've almost sort of broke it down into two things. There's kind of traditional lending, which is, this is a business saying, look, I need lending over a certain term or short-term lending. That's what the funding platform does. Yeah. The other thing we've done is, because again, we have these relationships with all of, the kind of the different P2P providers, the likes of Crowdcube and others, where we have businesses that need to, want to kind of a direct linkage into one of these platforms. We then have a kind of a personal introduction which will make these platforms on their behalf. So it's really just about saying what I'd like businesses to feel is that, now that I've got my accountant, I've effectively got this kind of spider's web into the business community, and I can pretty much through my accountant get my financing, get a valuation done, get connected to the right people, and so that person, the accountant, rather than being a And what I'm trying to change is, rather than accountants being viewed as a necessary evil, I kind of want to see them as being central to the business ecosystem, being almost vital to any business in terms of growth and connecting their business and growing it.
Well, I have to say it's fascinating, and it's fascinating that, as I say, KPMG have entered this market, and I think that clearly the way you've described it and broken it down there, it's clearly affordable, and it's clearly going to be, I suspect, a surprise to many of those smaller businesses that encounter it, isn't it? That KPMG are involved at this level.
Yeah,
so
I think that's right.
No, that's brilliant. Really fantastic. A load of information there. Now, is there a particular website that people should go to look at more information on this?
Yep. So our website is kpmgsmallbusiness.co.uk.
Lovely.
So there's a ton of information there, lots of case studies you can hear directly from clients as well.
Yep. And this has been, how long has this been going? It's about a year now, is it? This product?
We've been live for around 2 years now.
Oh, 2 years. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time. I know you're a terribly busy man, and I really appreciate you articulating and breaking it all down for me and for those that are listening. So that's the KPMG Small Business offer. Bivek Sharma has been our guest. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was the LawyerFair Daily Podcast. There'll be more tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to the LawyerFair.co.uk Daily Podcast. If you'd like to listen to more, why not subscribe and download each episode via iTunes, or visit us on the LawyerFair.co.uk website.